Um, I just want to start out by telling you thank you for, filling out all the paperwork. I know that that's always a fun part of the deal. I did want to kind of go over some of the confidentiality before we start. Um, I want to make sure that you feel safe here, that this is a safe place. What you share with me, I'm not going to share with others. But there are a couple contingencies to confidentiality, like if there was an instance that involved the abuse or neglect of a child, or the abuse or neglect of an elder. I would have to report that. Also, if there was any threat to yourself, like any self-harm type threat, or bodily threat to another individual, I would have to report that as well, okay? The other thing is, if I was subpoenaed by the court, that I would have to that would affect our confidentiality as well, okay? But outside of that, what you say to me is not going to leave this room. It's not going to be shared. So do you understand what I explained to you? Does that make sense?
I do understand, and I appreciate the fact about confidentiality, because I am not shares because of fear that what I say will be shared with other people. I'm a very private person, so I do appreciate the confidentiality.
Okay, yes. I want you to feel safe and secure here. So, okay, with that being said, I would like to start out just by kind of hearing from you what brought you here today.
Tony, I feel like an octopus with 8 balls in the air. There's my job, trying to co-parent my grandson with my son. They live with me, trying to work, go to school, be a leader in the community, my church life, and sometimes it feels like I'm about ready to drop one of the balls. And I don't feel as if I have much time for me. And if feel that I'm time, then guilt starts to set in. Like, you could be doing this, or you could be putting that time to the grandson, or going to Bible study, or giving a speech on missionary. Like I said, I feel like an octopus with 8 balls in the air.
So sometimes you feel like torn between what you should be doing, or what kind of like where your priority should be. Am I
exactly?
Okay. I want to make sure I'm hearing you right.
And the pressure is not coming from anyone. It's me. I won't say that I'm an overachiever, but whatever I set out to do, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And if I think that I'm not, then I start to feel guilty. Like an example, I just started a new job. I want to hands-on take care of the elderly, like bathing and changing and stuff like that. But the new job, that's what it entails. And to me, I don't think that I'm doing a very good job. Although my employer, she said that she's pleased with me, and not to worry about having change an adult guy. And it may small to someone else. It just tears me apart that that when I'm changing the diaper, the client is saying, "You trying to kill me?" Although she's
Mm.
elderly and she really doesn't mean it. Maybe she does, but not. I shouldn't take it personally, but I do. And I had thought about changing jobs,
Mm.
but again, that's not easy, and I'm not a quitter. So sometimes I feel like I'm in a between a rock and a hard place, and I'm just glad that I have somebody other than my family to talk to because, or they say, "Oh, you doing good," or that's fine, or "Are you sure that you have anything to be complaining about?"
Mm.
But am I really complaining, or my? I want to know that my feelings are validated.
Right. Right. Well, it's definitely difficult, when you're starting a new position like that, especially when it's dealing with, you're dealing one on one with individuals and the elderly. A lot of times you're dealing with people who have dementia and Alzheimer's, and so there's all kinds of dynamics going on there. So it's definitely a high stress and just a complex situation that you're in. So yeah, I definitely get that. I see where that could be just difficult all the way around. Yeah. Um,
And then the times that I'm on the computer, and of course it's summer and my grandson is out of school, he requires a lot of my attention. As soon as I say the word computer, he has a million things he wants to share with grandma and needs grandma's attention. And grandma, do you want to take a break? And when I get on the computer, I'm there for 6 and 7 hours, only to take a bathroom break. And then I feel guilty because he wants my attention, but I need to complete my assignments. And they are not assignments that you can just do in a half hour. It sometimes it takes me literally 6 hours to complete an assignment. So
so
again, my time spent on the computer makes me guilty that I'm not spending with my grandson that he wants me
okay, so it sounds to me like uh, guilt is playing a part in a lot of what's going on. Um, was there okay with your older children, like his parent? Was there were you a single mom? Tell me a little bit about the family dynamic, about what it was like, um yeah, when you were raising your children.
to. So I wasn't a single mom. Their dad, we were married, we were together. However, the discipline and the extracurricular school activities, I felt as if I was a single mom. The PTA meetings, he never attended. His idea was he was the breadwinner. He go to work. When he comes home, he just want to relax. Don't require anything of him other than on his. So in that respect, I felt like a single mom because I had all of it to do for myself. The ball games, the PTA, the fairs, and all that. You know, I had to do it.
Now, is he still around?
Now my husband died in 2009,
Okay.
but my children, they're both grown. One is out of the house, and my grandson's father, like I said before, they both live with me. But he's a truck driver, so he's gone
Mm.
um, up and from Monday to Friday or Saturday. So therefore, besides Braylon's mom, who may get him 1 or 2 days a week, Braylon is basically with me.
So yeah, it's like your mom all over again.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
so give me an example of like a typical work week for you. What does that look like?
My my job work.
Yeah, the whole, like what your basic week looks like on an average.
Okay, we start with Sunday. Sunday is church. Get out of church, have lunch with my grandchildren, go home, get on the computer to try to finish up schoolwork to make sure I can turn it in on Monday. Thinking about starting work on Monday, which I work from 11 to 7, third shift. Get off work. I have a part-time job that I do personal care with a neighbor of mine. So I leave my job at 7 o'clock, go directly to her house, do personal care with her, then come home, make sure my grandson has breakfast, has everything. I to take a sleep till about 11:30, get up and give him lunch, get on the computer until 4 o'clock. Then I have to go back and give my client her medicine, come back home, dinner, rest a little bit, shower, and back to work. Be back to work at 11.
Wow. Wow, that you have got a loaded schedule. I can definitely understand where you would feel overwhelmed or feel like you've got all those balls in the air. You sure do. You sure do. It's got to be exhausting. You've got to feel exhausted.
I am exhausted, and be able to get 8 solid hours of sleep.
Mm.
I was looking at a newscast or something on TV about if you don't get 8 hours of sleep, anything less than 6 hours contributes to high blood pressure. Of course, I do have high blood pressure. So a lot of times I'm running on fumes, because I'm not getting my 8 hours of sleep.
So how do you think what, like if we were trying to come up with some sort of goal like for our working arrangement here, what would you see as a goal that you would have to help you combat these feelings? What would you like to achieve in our meetings?
Time management.
Okay.
How to learn to say no, or I don't have the time.
Amen.
Not to spread myself so thin.
Yeah, that's a tough one, the saying no. And you already alluded earlier to being an overachiever, and I can definitely relate to you in that way. I think you might, with your church background as well, I think maybe you have a gift of helps. It sounds like you're always willing to help everyone. Does that describe you?
My my spiritual gift assessment, the gift of help was very low. That
Really?
that was the 11, where administration was 19, 20, and 21. So the things that I do for other people, I don't consider it a gift of help.
Okay.
It's just that they require it, and I can't say no.
Okay. So do you feel like you have to please everyone or keep everyone happy?
You know, I never thought about it as pleasing or trying. Oh no, I don't do it to try to make people happy. It's just being helpful. Someone has a need, and if I think that I can supply that need, but no, I don't please anybody or make it.
Well, that's
Just
good.
supplying a need.
Right. That's good that that's not your motivation. Um, so, okay, I see here that we want to work on some time management, learning how to say no. Um, and I started to write something else, and now I can't remember what it was. Can you think of anything else that I'm missing? No?
Just me time.
Me time. Okay. So finding
Yeah.
some me time. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Even this morning after I got off work, just before I went to do personal care for my client, I did take a half hour just to sit down and have a good hot breakfast at a restaurant to myself. And in the back of my mind, I've got to get home so get Braylon up so that the babysitter can leave. You know, that every morsel of food I put in my mouth, that was in the back of my mind. Getting back to make sure that I could get Braylon in time.
So it sounds like you weren't really, like, although you were taking the time to have a meal by yourself, you were preoccupied the whole time with what you should be doing. Is that
exactly? Exactly.
Is that a typical? Is that what typically happens when you try and take me time?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you think that those feelings of guilt that you talked about earlier play into all of that? Like why you're having these thoughts while you're trying to have a moment to yourself?
I think so. And I guess coming from a large family, because I am one of 12 children, and a lot was required of us because we were farm families. We had to work on a farm and stuff, and every minute counted. We had to be responsible or doing something productive and make our farm be successful. So, yeah, I think it's coming from that because coming from a farming family, every minute has to be productive.
Right. Sun up to sundown, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that. My dad was, I didn't grow up on a farm, but my dad was one that anytime that I was resting, it was, shouldn't you be doing something? So I can definitely relate to that. And it is difficult when you have that type of mindset that you grew up with to be able to relax. It's like you really have to work at it. Do you feel that you have to?
I haven't gotten to the point that I know how to work at it.
Okay. Well,
my laughter
Hmm.
is not because I think it's sad that I don't know how to do that.
Mm. So that's something that you'd probably want to add to your goals, I'm thinking, to learn how to relax. Put that right in there with the getting me time. Because if you're just getting me time, but you're not actually, you know, able to disconnect, able to let that other stuff go during that me time, then you're not really getting me time, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You're exactly right.
So we need to work on that too. Being able to like set that stuff aside for a minute and learn how to relax and really get the most out of those little, you know, even if it is those little 30-minute bites that you get, so that they're actually a good thing for you. We're kind of running out of time now, but I want to, in closing, I want to kind of have you do a little homework assignment. Can I get you to do that? I know you got a lot going on. I don't want to put more on your plate, but it's just a little thing. I want you, as you're going through your day, to look at like areas that you might be able to like work in a little me time. You know, just start looking at your schedule that way. Like, how can I get half an hour today? And even if you don't get there yet, just start thinking about it like that, and looking at your schedule that way. Do you think you can do that?
I'll do it. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Okay. Yeah. And then we'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about how, you know, how that looked to you and how that felt to you, and see if we can work with that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Toni.
Okay. You're welcome, Lily. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.